Better, 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 better. Better, 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 better. Better, 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 better. Click. Thank you for calling the Revolutionary Army Help Desk. All of our operators are currently busy at the moment. If your island is being attacked by the world government and/or pirates and you wish for us to rush to your aid, press 1. If you are interested in joining the Revolutionary Army, press 2. For information on the Revolutionary Army's 5K fun run for muscular dystrophy, press 3. For all other queries and for dating advice from Eva-san, please stay on the line.
Yeah, hi, my name's Dave. I think I got the wrong number. I wanted the Revolutionary Pizza and Sub Shop. Yeah, screw it. I want an Italian BLT, provolone cheese, onions, pickles, and, Diet Coke.
Oh, it's a bright sunny day on the meadow. Welcome everybody to the One Piece post-arc chapter extravaganza! No holds bar, anything goes. This week we get to see the commanders of the Revolutionary Army, and that wasn't a joke, and I'm super pumped right now, so let's get into it! Alright, chapter 904, the entrance of the Revolutionary Army commanders. You know right there when Oda is just cutting the bullshit, and he's like, okay guys, it's time for me to show you exactly what the Revolutionary Army is capable of. It's time for their time to shine. We're gonna see them in all their glory, all their fancy suits, top-hatted glory. All of the commanders happen to wear top hats like Sabo. Well, not all of the commanders, but most of them do. The funny thing about that you have to understand, though, is that Sabo wore this top hat way back when he was a kid, so that means they're emulating him. Sabo is a fashion icon amongst the Revolutionary Army. I know, right? Okay, well, let's get into the cover page really quick. It's not really much to go on here, but Orlumbus is basically resigning to the Standing Kingdom's king. He was an adventurer, going out into the world, discovering new islands and treasure, I guess. Just like Columbus of old, you know, somebody has to be paying you to do it. I think Columbus had to, like, petition the king in order to get, you know, the expedition to go and find the alternate route to India, and then he stumbled upon the Americas. So I guess now that Orlumbus is a member of the Grand Fleet, maybe that's the reason he goes up to his king and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna stop adventuring. And the king looks pretty pissed at him, which is kind of weird because when people were talking about Orlumbus back during Dressrosa, they called him like the make-believe adventurer, you know, like he was just making up all of the things he did. So maybe the king actually bought all of his stories, like, oh yeah, I'm discovering all these different places. This Standing Kingdom's reign is huge. We have like 75 islands under our control now, king. And maybe now he's like coming clean, or he's just resigning and the king is just like, how dare you. So I don't know what Orlumbus is going to be up to. Maybe just journeying the seven seas to have his own adventure, or being devoted completely to the Straw Hat Grand Fleet's cause. I don't know, but he's resigning, so that's that. Okay. Right, so we get into the chapter, we cut over right to the Kamabaka Kingdom on Peachy Island, the area where Ivankov rules as the combination king and queen, and that's where Sanji was sent by Kuma. I love Ivankov, alright, just from design-wise, personality-wise, devil fruit-wise, just a really interesting character, and we get to see Ivankov hanging out there in front of all of his candy boys at a dining table. Honestly, seems like they've kind of had an upgrade since Baltigo. Ever since the whole incident with the Revolutionary Army being attacked by Blackbeard at Baltigo, they relocated to the Kamabaka Kingdom, and it made sense considering, hey, Baltigo was essentially Dragon's Island, and you also have Ivankov, who ruled over the Kamabaka Kingdom. That's his island, so, you know, it just makes sense that they would have a fallback plan. And Dragon is a freaking genius with this shit. You don't think he was sitting there like, alright, on the off chance our top secret headquarters is ever discovered, where are we gonna go? I bet Dragon saw Blackbeard coming. You know, he had a spy network. Even if the whole Burgess thing took him by surprise, they could have still at least saw, like, oh shit, Yonko's, fleet, Blackbeard's fleet is on the horizon coming toward Baltigo. All right, implement, plan C2 or whatever, and let's just get the hell out of here to the Kamabaka Kingdom, set up operations there. They probably already had infrastructure ready to go at Kamabaka Kingdom. Kamabaka Kingdom was ruled by Ivankov. They probably already had, like, a Den Mushi, room set up and all the different plans on what they were going to do. They probably already had revolutionaries based at Kamabaka Kingdom. So, yeah, I mean, it's not really a big deal. Like, remember back when Burgess announced, like, oh, I'm here at Baltigo, send the fleet. At first, we thought, like, oh shit, this is horrible. But if you actually think about it, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. Baltigo is just a place. It's just an island. The Revolutionary Army, as long as they have a backup plan, can live on. Dragon is smart. Obviously, he would have such a backup plan. So Oda doesn't make it a big deal. They left Baltigo and now they're based at Kamabaka. So we have Ivankov just ranting and raving about, oh, Straw Boy! His bounty is so high, it's great, and that Sanji Candy Boy! I never even knew he was part of the Germa. That never got brought up the 2 years he was here. Oh, I don't know, Ivankov, maybe because he was too busy running so goddamn far and fast, he ended up learning how to fly! Maybe that was something. He just starts running up and he's like, well, why would Sanji ever share that information with you? He was already creating all new hell memories by being on Kamabaka Kingdom. It's like, oh, maybe I'll bring up my other memories of hell as a child, and maybe that'll wash over the current memories. Sanji's been through a lot of shit in his life. I think it's time he gets something, Now, Ivankov also mentions that the Germa Kingdom has been effectively kicked out of the world government. Makes sense, considering that their connection to Big Mom was probably well publicized in the World Economic Journal by Morgans, so they're like, yeah, we can't have them in there anymore. Who would have thought that this, Nazi Kamen Rider-esque organization that had a plan to take over the entire North Blue territory somehow didn't work out in our world government hierarchy? Huh, strange. But yeah, so the Germa got kicked out. But I wouldn't worry too much about that. We're definitely going to see the Germa again. We're definitely going to see the Vinsmokes again in the story. I feel like this is definitely not going to be a thing where Oda's just like, okay, well, the Germa were, that was their arc, the Totland arc. That's when we introduced them. Okay, that's okay, we're not going to see them ever again. I think they're going to be a standing force in the New World, and we're going to see what they're up to every now and then. Maybe in between every arc, we'll cut over to the Germa to see what they're up to, what they're doing, and they might help out at some point later on. So we cut over to Koala there, and Koala's also reading the paper, and Ivankov's sitting there just like, what's wrong with Sabo? Because Sabo's just lying on the grass, staring up at the peachy sky. Kamabaka Kingdom is not that bad of a place. I mean, yeah, you got the raving band of Okama that literally chase you down and force you into things, but it's a nice weather. I would imagine the whole place smells like strawberries, like fluffy clouds everywhere. Looks like it's a good place just to relax, unless you're Sanji. So whatever, yeah, Baltigo was just a rocky fucking wasteland that had a constant, like, strong wind blowing through it. I mean, I'm just saying, I think this is a better place to base your operations. Yeah, so Sabo's lying on the ground, and Koala tells him, oh yeah, there's nothing wrong with him. He was grinning so much at the paper, probably at Luffy's bounty, that his face ended up getting sore, and now he's just lying down. So yeah, that makes sense there. Luffy's his younger brother. He's so happy. Maybe he's also maybe a little bit jelly. Sabo's like, 1.5 billion. That's so great, Luffy. Ivankov, what's my bounty again? 602 million, Sabo boy. Okay, well, looks like I gotta go blow up another freaking government facility. Come on, Koala! But no. He's very much happy for his younger brother. At this time, he also receives a call from somebody named Lindbergh, and he states that, oh, well, I'm gonna be a little late to the meeting. And Sabo's like, oh, okay, well, as long as you guys are safe. Lindbergh is one of the commanders, one of the 4 commanders we're going to be introduced to in this chapter from the Revolutionary Army. And there was also another one, Karasu, that we've been hinted at before. The other one, Morley, is just and Betty are ones that we haven't seen yet, period. But yeah, so Lindbergh just calls up Sabo to let them know, like, hey, we're going to be a little late, we got kind of held up, yeah, we'll be there soon, don't worry, order a pizza, click. And so Sabo seems pretty chill about it. They're just like, oh, at least you called. Okay, it's cool. Now, more importantly now, we cut over to see what Dragon's up to. Dragon walks out, and he's like, all right, Sabo, looks like we need to finalize some stuff here. And Sabo's standing there, and he's just like, oh, you mean that we're gonna wage war on the celestial dragons at Reverie? Oh, yeah! Yeah, you know that's been freaking building up for a while now. I wonder how they're gonna do it, you know? Okay, because like I said, Dragon's a smart guy, all right? He's not just gonna raid Marijois. I don't think they have the numbers for it quite yet, okay? So they can't do that. They can't just, like, charge into freaking Reverie, wreck the place, and just be like, oh, revolutionary, we're declaring war against you! Just, you know, knock the shit out of all of the freaking celestial dragons and then skip out. No. I wonder if they're gonna send a little care package or something. You know, like a little bird just drops a little bomb in the middle of Reverie, and they're like, what the hell? And then, like, they freak out, and they all, like, get ready for an explosion, and then, like, a little chibi Sabo and Dragon just pop out, like, the victory sign, like, we're declaring war on you, we're declaring war on you. Maybe they'll send a letter, you send a nice little letter, it's like, yes, Gorosei, we received a letter here from an unknown source. Oh, what's going on here, freaking people? You know, we have a mailroom for a reason in this place. We declare war to you, dragons. Signed from Dragon. Son of a bitch! Why doesn't anybody check the mail in this damn place? So, I have no idea how they're gonna do it, but I'm really excited to see what Dragon and Sabo are gonna come up with. Obviously, this has been something they've been planning for a while. This confirms, though, at this point, the Revolutionary Army is big enough for them to at least... Because when you declare war at Reverie to the Celestial Dragons, the rulers of the entire world, essentially, with the world government anyway, you better have the freaking, you better have a backup plan. You better have a freaking something to hold that up, because you're not going to be able to go back afterwards, okay? The Revolutionary Army has already probably been like a thorn in the government's side at this point, but Dragon's talking about next level shit. Dragon's talking about, all right, we've gathered enough resources, we've gathered enough weapons, we've gathered enough people. It's time for us to this is endgame time now. This is fucking endgame. We are freaking saying that we declare war on the entire government. We're doing this. And they're gonna do it in a much flashier way than probably Luffy did when they just, like, burned down the government flag in Enies Lobby. Probably a much more extravagant way. Buggy himself would be jealous of the flashiness of this. Is probably gonna go down. But anyway, yeah. So that's enough of that. Now we cut over to a place on the Grand Line in Paradise, most likely, called the Lulusia Kingdom. Now, here's the thing about this. This is actually the kingdom that the princess that was kidnapped by those pirates that Kobe saved in the last chapter, this is where she was from. Now, here's the thing. I originally thought this is the Elsia Kingdom, which was mentioned before at Reverie way back at the beginning. Thalassa Lucas was the king. I originally thought that was the place. No, two completely different kingdoms. They just are spelled very similarly, and of course, they have the L thing in Japanese. So one is the Elsia Kingdom, and this is the Lulusia Kingdom. All right, so yeah, a lot of L, a lot of L sounds in there. But yeah, two different kingdoms, okay? This is the place where that princess is from. And of course, the king and the princess and all the king's men went to Reverie, so the kingdom is now easy pickings for Pirate Scourge. And once again, this makes sense. I mean, hey, pirates are going to attack the kings and the queens on the way to Reverie, and there are other pirates that are probably like, hey, we don't want to risk that because there's marines that are guarding them and everything. Hey, how about we go attack their kingdoms, because not only are their rulers gone, they probably also took one of their best soldiers along with them to protect them on the way to Reverie, which was the case with the Lulusia Kingdom. It's under attack by Peachbeard, or Pinkbeard, who's a subservient of the Blackbeard pirates, who I guess does because he states that Blackbeard gave him his name. So does Blackbeard he never really seemed like the very creative kind of dude. He just sit down and be like, all right, you're Peachbeard, you're Limebeard, you're Coconut Beard, you're Candy Beard, you're Mudkip Beard, you're Guitar Beard, you know what, just name yourself whatever beards you want. I'm Blackbeard, that's all that matters. Go have fun. Well, anyway, Peachbeard doesn't seem to really be all that impressive. He only has a bounty of 52 million, which... Remember back in the day when 52 million was actually impressive. But remember Bellamy pre-time skip? He had a bounty of 55 million. Pre-time skip Bellamy was more freaking notorious than the legendary Pinkbeard or Peachbeard. I think they're also, because he has Momo written, that means peach, like, you know, Momotaro, you know, okay, whatever. But anyway, he's attacking the Lulusia Kingdom, and he's basically just fodder. He's fodder to be introduced to the 4 revolutionary commanders and just screw him over on the freaking asphalt and just have him lay prostrate. That's what he's basically there for. So, if there's anybody out there that, like, at first seeing Peachbeard, like, whoa, man, I'm impressed. This guy, I think he's going to be the next villain. Sorry, you're going to be woefully disappointed. Apparently the Lulusia Kingdom isn't doing that great, though. Apparently it doesn't make that much money. There's a lot of peasants living there, and they have to take all the money that they make and give them to an offering for the Celestial Dragons and also to the kingdom. So they don't really have a lot of money to give the legendary pirate Peachbeard. Now, despite this, the fact that there's not a lot of money in the town, Peachbeard doesn't really care, just starts kind of, you know, doing the pirate thing, you know, pillaging, murdering, that sort of shit. A girl from the crowd walks over to Peachbeard and tries to plead with him, you know, please stop this, we really don't have anything, we're very poor. And this girl, we've actually seen her before. This is Mona. Yeah, I don't even know why I paused there, like, oh yeah, Mona, you know, yeah, I remember her. I had to look her up too. Mona was part of Ace's Great Blackbeard Search cover page. And in case you don't remember that cover serial, here's a very brief recap. Basically, Ace washes ashore on some random island, a farm girl named Mona revives him, he befriends her, she gives him a letter to deliver to a marine base where her parents work at, Ace sneaks into the marine base, has some fun, has some dinner, punches a guy in the face, saves a ship from being set on fire, you know, the typical kind of stuff. The Marines find out who he is, plug him full of holes, but not before he delivers the letter to Vice Admiral Comil, who goes to her island and gets the milk for their coffee so they can have more flavorful coffee for their meetings. Yeah. I mean, it's not really that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. It's not like Mona's an important character, but hey, Oda's sitting down at his table and be like, okay, I could just use a random character for this. I could just invent a character, or I could use somebody that was already established. Okay, let's use Mona. Sure, fine. World building! It's a beautiful thing that I love about One Piece. But anyway, Mona tries to plead with Pinkbeard to stop the madness, or stop the chaos, please think of the milk and think of the children. Pinkbeard is just kind of like, whatever, if you're gonna give the money to Celestial Dragons, then give it to me instead. And he just kind of pushes her, and she falls into the very billowy bosom of a mysterious figure. No, seriously, she's literally wearing no undershirt or bra. She's just wearing a jacket and a tie and just her bare breasts. Just, well, I mean, not bare breasts, it's shonen, so probably a lot of double-sided tape went into this jacket, but she just kind of like, boing. Why is it so soft? And it makes a squish sound effect. Like, okay. Oh, god damn it, I love you, Oda. Okay, so this is a very basic kind of setup for a chapter. An island is being attacked by pirates. All right, and the citizens are like, oh no, what are we gonna do? And then the heroes arrive, the mysterious heroes, like, and this is their chapter to just be absolute badasses. Later on in the story, we're gonna get separate fights with these guys, and it's gonna be like a serious, you know, balls out fight. But for this chapter, they might as well be freaking invincible. All right, so you have their big epic introduction moment where, you know, like a girl gets knocked to the ground, and it's like, hi, little lady. Needs some help, and then they appear and they all strike epic poses. The version that Oda's doing here, and this is probably the moment where the epic music is gonna play in the background, where Pinkbeard is just like, it's like, give me the money, bitch, and just slaps her, and she falls, and just falls into the large, you know, buxom embrace of this woman, and just squishes her boob, and just like, and then like the epic music plays up, like, we're the Revolutionary Army. Oh, I love my job sometimes. Alright, but we're not quite to the boob lady yet. First off, the ground begins to bubble. Oh, and get ready, because shit gets knocked into freaking 11th gear after this point. So, yeah, we're doing this, okay? The ground begins to bubble and swell, kind of like Gladys whenever he was using his Pop Fruit and Dressrosa. Like, it begins to swell up, except it doesn't explode. It just kind of splits open, sort of like clay. It becomes really malleable, very soft. And then a giant pops out with a giant pitchfork. He's also an Okama, so he has the typical, Okama speech. People are freaking out like, oh, it's a giant! It's like, why are you guys looking at me? Oh, come on, you're a little bit too forward, with the stares right away. Ho, ho, ho. So, okay. A giant that's an Okama with a giant pitchfork. Okay, I'm cool. Can we get cooler? Yes we can. Because he drives the pitchfork into the malleable ground and creates basically a giant wave of this clay stuff and gets knocked away. All the people in the town are just like, oh, okay, who is this? This guy a Marine? Is he a lunatic that escaped from the asylum? Like, what's going on here? Meanwhile, we cut over to the other lady who is still not seen in full view yet. She's wearing sunglasses, smoking a cigarette, also wearing a top hat. Morley, the guy that's the giant, he was wearing a top hat as well, and he's also most likely the dude that we saw in that one flashback whenever Doflamingo was talking about, not really a flashback, but when Doflamingo was talking about all the strong people in the world, who's gonna rule this sea? Is it gonna be the warlords? Is it gonna be the Yonko? Is it gonna be this worst generation? He also mentions there's some strong people in the Revolutionary Army as well, and we see a silhouette of Ivankov and Dragon and Sabo, but we also see this other dude off to the side. That's Morley. That's the Okama giant. But anyway, yeah, the next member that we see in full view, we actually see two of them at the same time. They're off on a rooftop. One of them, the only one that's not wearing the top hat, is named Karasu. He has the cool plague doctor mask going on, sort of like Chisake from My Hero Academia, if you're aware of that character. And also another guy who, this is Lindbergh, who, okay, you guys need to get ready for this one, all right? No. Before I describe this character, you just need to, okay, look, like, Morley, giant Okama, pitchfork, clay, malleable ground devil fruit. All right, that's pretty badass. The girl, her name's Bello Betty. She's got, the jacket with the boobs all over the place. Like, okay, that's obviously my favorite character, near and dear to my heart. Karasu is the really kind of edgy dude wearing like a black boa of crow feathers and the plague doctor mask, and he just looks like somebody that's generally somebody you don't want to run into on a Saturday night. But Lindbergh, okay. Lindbergh is a cat mink that's also an inventor that has a flipping jetpack. I'm gonna repeat that again for you guys. He's a cat mink that has a freaking jetpack that goes around with magical bullets. Well, not magical because they're inventions that can freeze people. Like, that's what he does. God, I love my job! This is awesome! Okay, also, by the way, when we did that Vegapunk art contest on Roger's channel a while back, I know a lot of people sent in designs that were like, depicting Vegapunk as basically like Lindbergh, a short, eccentric fellow that, develops a bunch of technology. So that might not be what Vegapunk looks like, although he might have a connection to Vegapunk. Who knows? Vegapunk has connections to the Revolutionary Army. If you haven't noticed that by now, you don't watch your One Piece. But, yeah, Vegapunk has connections. Lindbergh apparently has all these wacky inventions and shit. So, yeah, there's probably a connection there, but that's probably also not what Vegapunk's design is going to look like. So I apologize if anybody thought he was going to look like that, because that seems to be Lindbergh's kind of thing. But yeah, cat mink, jetpack, inventor. All right, so and we're not even into the proper introduction of these guys yet. Alright, well, now we get into the proper introduction of these guys. We have Morley, Revolutionary Army West Army Commander. Then we have Bello Betty, Revolutionary Army East Army Commander. Lindbergh, Revolutionary Army South Army Commander. And Karasu, Revolutionary Army North Army Commander. Karasu's thing, I really don't want to glance over him because he does have a very striking appearance. We've actually seen Karasu before, but in crow form. See, he has, I guess, some kind of devil fruit that allows him to transform into crows. I believe it's called the, what was it? Oh yeah, the Itachi no Mi. Okay, that's what it is. Anyway, yeah. And at the end of Dressrosa, when Sabo left, do you remember what happened? Do you remember how Sabo left Dressrosa? He was riding on a flock of crows. Oh, no, sorry. A murder. A flock of crows is called a murder. And a group of only 2 to 3 crows is only called an attempted murder. Okay, that was a bad joke. I'm sorry. But yeah, anyway, so Yeah, that was most likely Karasu. In fact, that was Karasu because the birds, the crows, were actually speaking to Sabo. Sabo was asking Karasu, like, hey, so could you just split into crows whenever? And the crows answered, like, yep, whenever I want. So, yeah, that was Karasu there. Sabo spoke to Lindbergh early on in this chapter. Morley was seen during the little image with Doflamingo. So Bello Betty was the only one that we really had no idea about what was going on here. And Bello Betty is, these guys all have references to certain things. I'm going off a lot of tangents here. I'm like, by the way, this. Oh, and by the way, there's just a lot of stuff to unpack in this chapter, okay? I'm just really pumped right here. I need to calm down. I need to, like, okay, I'm wearing the suit for a reason, Matt. You're supposed to give dignified One Piece chapter reviews. Okay, but anyway, yeah, Morley, he has that pitchfork, right? The pitchfork doesn't look like a standard pitchfork, though. It has, like, wires and tubes coming out of it. So I'm going to assume that Lindbergh is actually one of the inventors for the Revolutionary Army, like R&D. Like, he develops all the weapons to be used, you know, for other commanders and other members of the army. If Vegapunk is involved, he might do stuff, too. But remember, Vegapunk also has to have his little double life working for the world government, so he might not always be able to outfit the Revolutionary Army with his tech. So for that, in that situation, you have Lindbergh, who might not be as great as Vegapunk, because Vegapunk is set up as, like, the best, you know, like, the absolute genius of the entire One Piece world. But Lindbergh is probably also really good at his tech. So he's probably the one that outfitted everybody. Bello Betty is based off Mary Ann, who is from a Eugene Delacroix painting, and I could show you the painting, but there is boobs. Old-fashioned boobs, which I can appreciate. But anyway, yeah, that makes it art. Lady Liberty leading her people to freedom, and this makes perfect sense considering what we're going to see from Bello Betty's Devil Fruit here in a second. It also explains how come she has, like, you know, just a jacket to cover up her massive jubblies. So we're going to get to that. Lindbergh, the only thing I can figure out on Lindbergh is Charles Lindbergh. He was a guy that flew a plane one time back in the day. And Karasu just means crow in Japanese. That's Karasu, crow. You know, that's that. I feel like Karasu kind of got the short stick. I mean, he's a badass-looking character, but all the other ones have, like, some sort of design for their name, but, you know, some clever thing going on. Karasu's thing is just he's, like, whispering a lot. He's, like, mumbling to himself. Like, I imagine he has the Plague Doctor mask on, so he can't, like, Karasu, Revolutionary Army, can't hear you, bro. But anyway, yeah. That is their introduction panel. And now, dearest Pinkbeard, you had your time in the sun, but now I believe, sir, it is your time to get royally wrecked. So let's get to it. First off, people bad talk Karasu, to which he immediately snaps, pops the brain vein, and goes after them. Then you have Bello Betty that breaks out her epic flag. We don't actually get to see what's on the flag that she's carrying around, but she waves a flag, and she has the Devil Fruit ability of the Pep Fruit, which allows her to encourage and motivate the people around her. She talks in a very offensive way to all of the people on the island, like, you pieces of trash, what are you doing? Not even trying to fight for yourself. What is this bull crap? That's just her speech style. She's actually a very nice person. But yeah, she waves her flag around, and that encourages all the people on the island to arms. They pick up sticks and just crude weapons, and one of them mentions that, you know, his muscles begin to bulge, like, I'm filled with energy. And then they go and they attack the members of the Pinkbeard pirate crew. And you know what? That's a very useful ability to have when you're in the Revolutionary Army. The Revolutionary Army is not about, you know, like the same thing the pirates are or anything. The Revolutionary Army is about empowering the people, getting the people to fight back. That's what they're all about. And that Devil Fruit that Bello Betty has is absolutely freaking valuable as shit in that kind of situation. So, yeah, I'm imagining what the fruit actually does is it just, like, you know, raises your endorphins, you know, gets some adrenaline pumping. You know, even if you're bleeding or you're injured, you're on the ground, like, they killed everybody, they took my family, I can't do anything anymore. And then all Betty has to do is just rise up and fight the opposition. And then you just start feeling like, oh, your endorphins going, the pain subsides, you know, maybe your muscles get a little bit more active, and you're like, yeah, you know what? You get motivated. You know what? I'm gonna kill those damn bastards for killing my family. Yeah, let's do this! Revolution! You know, so that's the kind of shit she has. Also, dem legs, man. I gotta hope that we get fan art of her quick, you know, for reasons. But no, not those reasons, but Like 40% those reasons. Okay, so anyway, the fight begins in earnest now. Pinkbeard just starts laughing at all of the members of the island beginning to, you know, pick up, like, sticks and rocks and just come charging at them. They take out guns and be like, well, let's see what they are when they're pumped full of lead. That's when Lindbergh shows up, who, I don't know if I mentioned this yet, but is a cat mink with a freaking jetpack and flies around with his invention, who are the cool shooter, which just shoots freezing bullets. Pretty standard thing, but pretty awesome nonetheless. Shoots all the members of the Pinkbeard pirate crew, frees up the freaking guns, frosts their hands to them so they can't drop them, and then the people of the island, they don't actually directly, like, attack them. You see that in this chapter. Morley kind of does when he first appears. He kind of wrecks out of the ground and just kind of, like, sends that earth wave thing around. But the members of the commanders of the Revolutionary Army do not directly, like, get in the brawl and just start beating the crap out of Pinkbeard. That's all on the citizens of the island. Bello Betty just, like, kind of, like, you know, gets their encouragement. Morley changes the battlefield so that, you know, the Pinkbeard pirates lose their composure. And then you had Lindbergh that uses the coal shooter to make sure they can't fire their guns. And then finally you have Karasu that turns into a body of crows. Not a body, it's a murder. Damn it! I am attempting to say murder and I keep failing. But anyway, he sends out his murder of crows that grab the guns that, you know, and then just pick them up and leave. So now they're disarmed essentially, and now the people of the island can just beat them over the head. Even Mona gets in on a shot. Yeah, you go, cowgirl! And then Pinkbeard finally falls, and they're just kind of sitting there looking at his bounty poster, and they're like, okay, he's worth 52 million, and they turn to the island, and they're like, you know what, people of the Luisia Kingdom, you get this bounty, so you can claim it. And that's actually something cool, because we don't get to see the bounties of these pirates get claimed all too much in the One Piece world. Just to kind of have a little bit of an idea how this works, pirates cannot turn in under pirates. I mean, they can, but they're not going to get the bounty for it, right? So it's not like, it's not like Luffy, who's a pirate with a bounty of 1.5 billion, can go and turn in Katakuri, who has a bounty of 1 billion, and they, oh, okay, Luffy, well, here's the bounty. That's not how it works. They're just going to take Luffy in as well. So, and also the Marines, I would imagine, don't get the bounty, because the Marines, that's their job. Their job is to bring in the pirates, so they probably don't get it. People like the bounty hunters get it, but once the bounty gets high enough, bounty hunters aren't really that effectual, you know what I mean? And in this situation, it's the townspeople that are going to get the bounties. So I guess they, you know, take Peachbeard into the nearest government office, and they say, oh yeah, these guys attacked our island, and we all ganged up, and we fought back, and we beat them. And the government facility would be like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. You're not pirates, you're not revolutionaries, you're just normal people just fighting to protect your island. Good job. Here's the bounty. So there you go. Bello Betty also hands them a card. The Revolutionary Army has cards. Yeah, just give us a call. Give us a call when you're ready to fight against the cruel injustice in this world. Yeah, you guys did a good job. Just kind of smokes a cigarette, pops on her glasses, and that's it. The members of the Revolutionary Army, the commanders, they begin to walk away and state that, oh, I guess we're going to be declaring war with the Celestial Dragons now. It's just kind of like a how do you do, kind of like, oh, okay, well, that was kind of building for a while. I wonder how that's going to go down. And one of the last things they mention is Karasu, you had your speaker turned off, and he clicks it on, and then you can actually hear him. He's like, I forgot. So what I can assume is going on with Karasu is that he has a very like weak voice, very quiet voice, and that mask he has might have actually been an invention by Lindbergh, and it has like a speaker grill in it, and he has to flip a switch, and he speaks into the speaker, and it actually makes his voice audible for people. But he forgot to turn it on during the battle, so he was probably saying a bunch of stuff like, I am Karasu, the harbinger of death from the North Blue Territory, and nobody could hear him, and that's why he got pissed and attacked. Last thing I want to mention about the Revolutionary Army, oh, by the way, Reverie starts in 2 days, so that's coming up. Something else about the Revolutionary Army that's rather interesting. So you have the commanders of the Revolutionary Army that are split up into North, South, East, and West, right? These are most likely talking about the different blue territories, because the world government has a reign over the entire world. Not over every last solitary island, like certain islands like Wano are not allied with the world government, but a lot of islands are. I think it was something like 170 to 200, something like that. And so obviously you can't just have like one base of operations in Baltigo or the Kamabaka Kingdom and expect to inspire all the people. You have to have divisions of the Revolutionary Army in every single corner of the globe. So that's what these guys are. So Bello Betty was the commander of the East Blue in terms of the Revolutionary Army. Kind of sucks we never saw her before. She might have actually been the one that was in charge of the whole Tequila Wolf thing that Robin got sent to. Who knows? But anyway, then we have not Chop. But anyway, then we have Dragon and Sabo. Dragon being the head of the Revolutionary Army, and then Sabo, who's the second in command, who are based on the Grand Line. However, they're based in the Paradise side of the Grand Line, because I'm pretty sure that's where Baltigo is, and that's definitely where the Kambaka Kingdom is in Paradise. We don't really get to see that much action in the New World, like in terms of a revolutionary base in the New World, so I don't know what's up with that. Obviously, they're involved in the New World. Sabo and Koala and Hack, they were involved in the whole Dressrosa thing. Maybe they have a method to get in between, like, Paradise and the New World a lot more efficiently, because they seem to jump back and forth rather easily. You could always say, like, oh, well, they have a ship mechanic that can coat their ship really quick, go through Fishman Island and stuff, but it seems like they're jumping back and forth between Paradise side and the New World side, and this is something that Oda has really established of how hard it is to go from Paradise to the New World, so I think Oda is definitely going to explain exactly how the Revolutionary Army does this, how easily they do it. I want to say that it was just because of Karasu's crows that could just fly Sabo over the wall, but it's pretty high, and you also had Hack and Koala and everybody there, so I'm not sure if that's how that worked exactly. But an amazingly fun chapter, a lot of interestingly new characters. I had a theory that Crocodile was going to be a member of the Revolutionary Army, and he's not a commander, so that kind of, I'm not even mad, because that was like an out there kind of theory. I'm just happy to see all these characters. I like the inspirations they're based from. My favorite, I gotta stick with boobs. I have to. It's my thing. So Bello Betty is definitely my favorite. Oh, and we don't know the bounties for any of these guys. Sabo has a bounty, so most likely all these guys have bounties too, but we just don't know their bounties. But my second favorite is probably Lindbergh, just because, cat mink, jetpack, what's not to love? We're definitely going to see these guys more often in the story, fighting. They're probably going to have an epic battle at some point, like they're all going to have their individual fights, and it's going to be really epic. I want to know more about their individual devil fruits. We still didn't know what Morley's devil fruit was, what it's like. It's like a clay fruit, because it seemed to be kind of like Pika's stone assimilation fruit a little bit. But instead of that, he's not like becoming part of the stone, he's just like underground and just kind of making the ground malleable enough to move out of. That seems to be his ability. And I think he's the first giant that actually has a devil fruit in the canon of the story. And there was another scene when he popped out of the ground, the citizens of the island are like, wait, do giants live underground? I don't know. And I'm just like, no, those are dwarves. Dwarves live under the underground, and giants live on an island out in the middle with giant trees. It's a long story. But anyway, yeah, amazing chapter, so much fun. I hope you guys enjoy it. And next chapter, we might be getting to Wano finally. Or Reverie. Depends on how Oda's going to go about it. Usually the post-chapter arcs usually last 2 to 3 chapters, so we might get one more where we cut around the world to see different areas. We might have a scene where the Straw Hats arrive at Wano, and then cut back over to Reverie, because Reverie's going to be first, definitely. It's only 2 days away, so that's definitely going to be first. But we might just have a scene where the Straw Hats are sailing to Wano, like, oh, they see it. Or we might cut over to Wano and maybe get a little glimpse of it to see what's, like, Zoro and Law. Because we had, alright, last chapter we got to see the Straw Hats, and Luffy's new bounty and Shanks and all the Yonko. This chapter we got to see what's up with the revolutionaries. So next chapter we might finally see what's up with the other members of the Straw Hat crew that we haven't seen for so damn long. Yeah, so, right, we might get that, but Reverie's definitely coming up. I'm pumped. Thanks for watching, everybody. This will be Tekking101 signing out. Later.